I'm now joined by James Claypole, entrepreneurial lead at University of Swansea, who's got a rather interesting new innovation that we will be talking about. Hi, James, and welcome to our
Hi,
podcast.
thanks for having me.
So, tell us all about your new innovation.
Essentially our technology is all about separating electronics. So we've come up with a way to separate the electronics from the bulk of the packaging waste. This means that we can maintain the sort of monomaterial construction required to increase the value of the recycler, but we can still have all the benefits of smart packaging.
Excellent. You kind of answered that question, but so how does that sort of benefit sort of industry in terms of sustainability or ease of
Yeah,
use,
so
whatever it might be?
so essentially does it does very much two things. So we can have it allows us to combine smart packaging and the idea of the whole monomaterial packaging for obviously as soon as you put things like smart packaging to the packaging, you've got to work out how you get that off. Otherwise, you're kind of diverging from that monomaterial approach, um, which obviously reduces the value of the recyclate if you kind of go away from monomaterial. So but then if you've got monomaterial, you can't have smart packaging, which and all the benefits that provides in terms of supply chain optimization and consumer interaction. So what we're trying to do is we've come up with a way we can have essentially have both, have our cake and eat it, so to speak.
Excellent. And where are you in the development? Is it sort of a prototype stage, or are you speaking to companies, brands, or?
Yeah, so we're at kind of a little bit before prototype stage. Really, we are, I guess, ideation. I think is the term, but we've tested this technology in terms of electronics. So my background is more wearable technology and printed electronics. So we know this works in an electronics sector. We know how it works in terms of recycling the electronics itself, and we're trying to expand out where this technology can go into things like smart packaging. So we're looking for people we can work with to actually really develop this and prototype this technology and really take it forward.
Excellent. And what kind of applications are you anticipating in terms of sort of product categories?
Um, Generally, we were looking down the line of potentially high value, more like luxury packaging,
Mhm.
where we've got a bit more scope to play with electronics and things like that, where the margins are slightly better and slightly more forgiving to have
Yeah.
us gives us the option to prototype essentially and pilot trial on a smaller scale rather than we're not going to turn around and say this is going to be pennies cheap RFID tags straight off the bat because you need it takes time to build that kind of scale. So we're not at the kind of scale where we're going to have pennies for costs and things like that. So it will take time, and that's why maybe that kind of higher value area gives us a bit more scope to um, do more and
Yeah.
explore.
Okay. Okay. So what kind of challenges have you had in your journey so far, and sort of how have you sort of overcome them? It's such a hard job being a developer. I'm sure you must have had a few hurdles along the way.
Yeah, I guess one of the big challenges is where we are now is really finding the people to work with to take this forward, and really securing people who are really genuinely interested in taking this forward. And in terms of going forward, the other real big challenge that we've come up with is recycling. So for us, getting it back, recovering, separating the electronics, separating the material in terms of manufacturing waste is quite straightforward. It's easy to get material back when you know where it's going. It's as soon as it gets into the hands of that end user, that consumer, how we establish things like deposit recycling or take back schemes and things like that. That's that is a real challenge in terms of what that is going to look like and how that's going to look, or how this technology might integrate then with existing waste streams in a way that's uh, the least invasive.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, and I should have asked this right at the very beginning, actually. But how did the idea come about? I mean, what was the sort of was there a light bulb moment, or was it part of a project brief initially, or
No, it was very much it was kind of a light bulb moment, I
excellent.
think. Which makes it quite interesting, really. We'd actually been working on wearable technology project where we produced heated clothing for Olympics. So it's completely different to smart packaging in pretty much every single way, except for the fact that we were creating like vast quantities of electronic waste essentially as a process of this. And it came up time and again as to, well, what happens when you're done? What happens to all this electronics when you're finished with it? And textiles is a particular challenge because you put electronic waste into textiles, you're going to destroy the textiles to get the precious metals back. But in that way, it's no different to the packaging. You put electronics into the packaging, you'll destroy the packaging to get the precious metals back because that's where the value is. And we were trying to come up with, I sat down and we tried to come up with a way that was better, basically, a way that was more sustainable, that we could get the electronics back without kind of destroying everything else in the process.
Excellent. And in our previous conversations, you've mentioned that the plan is to spin out from the University of Swansea. So exciting times, it sounds like, for 2024. Can you tell us sort of what's next for your innovation and what sort of plans you have going forward?
Yeah, so we've been supported by Innovate UK through their IKEA Explore program. And they've been helping us a lot and giving me a lot of training as a researcher with very little entrepreneurial experience to actually understand the business world. So we're hoping to continue on that journey essentially and have a official company sometime in the first half of the new year, really.
Excellent, exciting times indeed, and we look forward to
Yes.
reporting that back in our innovation zone next year. So, James
Yes.
Claypole, thank you very much for your time.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for having me.